listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. I'll be right back.
And away we go. Welcome back, Leatherhead Nation, to another episode of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Yeehaw!
You know, we got us tonight. We got us a Texas firefighter, all the way from Houston, Texas.
Hold on, let me get my boots on.
Oh, God,
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
I was gonna hit him
ones.
in the pre-show about the only two things come from Texas, but I thought he would kick my ass.
Oh no, he'll kick your ass.
Yep, steers and guys who wear yellow hats, and he ain't got no yellow hat on, bro. I tell you, welcome back, my old sidekick, my old who's cow, my sidekick, Ruffy the Kid. We got Ruffy the Kid, and we got Hop Along, Pootie Tang Pete. I gotta tell you, Ruffy, what would you do if you were walking down the street in a firehouse and you saw
a yellow
fella
hat guy?
with a yellow hat? I tell you, I'd take my old Sidewinder hair power. I'd fill him full of lead. That's what I would do, bro.
Careful with that.
Oh,
Before you hurt
yeah.
yourself.
Take my eye. I take one of those lemon heads, bro, and I fill it full
Should
of
I pull?
lead.
Should I pull the lever off the shelf or what?
Yeehaw. That's what I do. You know, I see me one of them snow. Ooh,
The hat looks like
see
it's seen a better day, I might add.
I think he pulled that hat off of a stripper in like in Miami somewhere. Look at that thing. Where'd you find that hat?
Yeah, I got it in Mexico. Yep.
I told you.
I see.
Same thing. In Miami,
I see one
strip
of
club,
them. He get my
Mexico.
Blady May. That's what he get. I take that yellow hat. He'd stick it where the sun don't shine, Ruffy. You know what I'm saying there?
I understand.
Hop along,
That's
Ruffy.
not a knife. Now that's a knife.
What happened? You look like you got a stiff neck or something. What's going on?
Trying to keep the hat on.
Oh. Idiot.
Oh, yeah. We got another good show. I think this is our first Texas firefighter, right? We got it all the way from Texas, bro.
Well, we've had the Firehouse Challenge with Texas guys on, right? Am I mistaken in
but
that?
this guy's really from Texas, bro. This guy's got
And he's got a lot of dead animals hanging on his wall. I love him already.
Ooh,
Oh, he
lots of
does.
dead animals.
I think Louis felt a little, he got a little head shame there. You know what I mean? He felt a little, maybe like he just got out of the ocean or something because that really incredible set of heads that we got on the wall over
Well,
there.
they were talking about hunting until like literally the bell rang for the show.
Yeah, you guys left. We were like, hey, we're going to take a break for 20 minutes. We stood there the whole time talking about killing.
Yeah. Well, can you show us that rack you were showing him? Do you have that next to you?
I do.
What
Pull that
rack?
thing up. Let's go.
What rack is he? He's got one on the
wait.
floor?
Look at this thing.
What the hell is that?
It's a dead animal carcass. What else?
Isn't that the thing that when Bugs Bunny came up out of the desert, his head went into it?
That is right.
Right?
Something like that.
Oh,
Is that the
my
one
God.
when did you get that one?
A couple of years ago.
Why is it sitting on your floor?
I was just showing him. It's hanging on the wall.
Oh, it's hanging on the wall.
Be very, very quiet.
Yeah.
I'm hunting rabbits.
It's hanging on the wall of dead. Ruffy's wall of dead.
I mean, I would love to see that. You know, Roof, we gotta like work on your background. I like the racks in the background, and like you got a real man cave there, and then you turn around and you have those curtains behind you.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 heads.
Wow, that's his life's work there, bro.
I think you just gotta flip the desk around and be looking at your
Come
window.
on, Gabe. 155.
Wow. Wowzers. All right.
What's 137?
Roof, you're going on another trip soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm leaving 2 weeks.
Nice.
Where you headed?
I'm going to Iowa and Ohio.
Oof, man. You take a shower through the whole time when you're there? You don't shower?
No.
You do? I don't
Man,
know. I don't know what goes on out there, bro.
Do you use like that special hunter's soap that doesn't have any scent so that you don't get? You do.
Look at that.
What about your clothing? Do you wash?
You piss on it?
Do I piss on it?
Yeah, no, you're supposed to piss on it. Something to
No, deer piss. You're supposed to use the deer piss.
Oh, you use it. Do you soak it in deer piss?
I don't use deer piss.
Some guys use deer piss.
Right.
So you smell like deer piss when you're downwind or with
I don't
animals
ever
downwind
smell
of
like
you.
deer piss. I don't use deer piss.
You know what? One day I should just go with you. I'll be the cook. Hangs back at the lodge. You call me Cookie, and I'll and you can tell me all your hunting stories when you go out. You know?
You can do it.
Oh my
You can
god!
come.
A getting salty hunting experience.
Hey, how are
bro.
those new boots working out for you, dude?
Oh my God, they're awesome.
All right,
Huh.
all right. I'm
They're
glad to hear
incredible.
the good review. Nice.
You guys want to know why don't you shoot those curtains, Lou? Put them out of the misery.
Yeah, they're asking also if the guy from Texas has left yet, which
No.
Keith says that's where Pissy Pants comes from. That's funny.
Pissy pants. I like
Look
that
at
one.
Keith
man.
getting one in there, bro. Yep.
Those sons of bitches.
Good, man. Well, listen, Lou, I know we have total faith in you that you're going to bring
Yeah.
something home because Kev's waiting on that jerky. That you
I know.
Pepperoni.
I'm
The
trying.
pepperoni. Yep.
Delish.
Pete,
All right, should we do a quick pay the bills and then get this
yeah,
fine
do all
gentleman
that,
in here?
do that whole thing that you got to do. That
Okay,
thing that, you
like-
do, that voodoo that you do.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, you know what the deal is. We have the finest of all sponsors in the world, and that is tonight, New Jersey Fire Equipment Company. Established in 1930 and under the current ownership since 1987, the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company handles a complete line of fire department equipment and supplies. Headquartered in Greenbrook, the company operates full 3M Scott service facilities in Ridgefield Park and Toms River, staffed by 10 fully authorized Scott certified technicians with a fleet of 6 fully equipped service vans. All New Jersey fire technicians and sales representatives are active or retired firefighters, officers or chief officers, career and volunteer. They understand the business and the importance of their work. New Jersey Fire has represented Scott since Earl Scott entered the SCBA business at the end of World War II. Among other leading manufacturers represented by New Jersey Fire are Globe and Firedex Turnout Gear, Mercedes Hose, Task Force Tips and Akron Brass, Hygenol, Firehooks, Arctic Compressors, MSA Carnes Helmets, ChemGuard Foam, Alkalite and Duo Safety Ladders, BA Face Shield Protectors, Truckman's Choice Saws, Grove's Gear Racks and Washer Dryers, Supervac Fans, RPI, Streamlight, and many others. A New Jersey incorporated and based company, sales and service are limited to the state of New Jersey. Find us now at www.njfe.com. That's www.njfe.com. Woo!
Great job. Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of great
And-
Getting Salty apparel coming out. I'm going to show you one of the new ones, bro.
Oh,
Getting
this is a
Salty
good one. I'm going to go
experience.
full screen on this one for all of them
Playing
to see.
cards. Playing cards. Well, I get you the better light. Hold on a minute. That's the king. We got a whole bunch of them. The Probies, the Jack. Good stuff, bro. Well, we got the Hazmat guy. He's the ace. Look at him. He's an ace. Farting at the back of his level later. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
I sent it to Roofy for his approval. Once we get his approval, they'll be out on the market, bro.
That was all drawn up by Paul Hash.
All Paul Hash-Hagen originals. Here's the Truckee, who is the Jack as well. Nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
Stuff. Yep.
Awesome.
Coming
I actually
soon.
want a set of those. Those are awesome. Freaking cool. And you know where I can find them? GettingSaltyApparel.com, ladies and
yes, you
gentlemen.
can.
Because Christmas is right around the corner. You guys think these will be up before Christmas?
Probably not.
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, just put your Christmas dreams away or put them on hold for January and save a few extra shekels.
Well, we
for
got
those-
plenty of other stuff. Get on that
That's
website.
right.
Get it.
What do
Christmas
they
is
got?
coming.
What do they got? They got T-shirts. They got hats. They got shot
my
glasses. What else do they have?
Yeah, we got the
could
new
use,
embroidered hats. We got a 15% discount, right, Ruff?
Cyber 15.
Tonight, right?
Cyber 15.
Today and
Get it.
tomorrow. Cyber
Get
15.
it.
Nice. We're
Yeah.
extending Cyber Monday into Cyber Tuesday.
I feel bad. So I got to do it.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good then. Let's do that. All right, guys. Getting saltyapparel.com. Boom. And also, guys, if you're watching this, hit us up in the super chat. The super chat, ladies and gentlemen, is your chance to say something or to throw us a few shekels if you just want to support the show or ask Captain Jenkins a question. Please try to keep it to the topic at hand. That way we don't throw the captain off. And yeah. guys, you guys are our number one syndicators and sponsors. So hit us up with that in the super chat if you can. If not, enjoy the show.
Gonzo said, "Is that purple thing in Lou's window his attempt to getting in the holiday spirit?"
Asking for a friend. Well, I don't even know what is that. Is that
That's
something?
just
Like
a
a little,
little-
it's like a little can. My daughter hung it in there. She's like, "Dad, you can put this on the
Now
podcast."
see, he's got to say it was his daughter. Now we can't make fun of
You
it.
think I hung up that thing in there?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing back there.
I'll smash it.
While you're skinning animals. I don't know what you're doing.
What he's doing? He's
Not wearing
he's
yellow hats. That's all.
he blasts the Gatling gun, and it sounds like this. Oh my God! It's
Nice.
probably.
Let's get him in here. Let's get Captain Jenkins in here, bro. All the way from the Lone Star State, Petey. Which town is he from? He was in the
Houston.
fire department of Houston. Does he still live in Houston?
I don't know.
Beautiful.
We're gonna find out.
Houston. Bring him in all the way from Houston, Texas.
That's Houston.
Captain Dale Jenkins. Great mustache, too. I love the mustache, bro.
He ain't fooling around.
What do you say, Cap?
Oh, here he is. Look, I got him on a playing card, too, with that mustache. Look at it. Captain Jenkins has his own playing card. Excellent.
What's up, Cap? How are you?
Great.
You ready to go?
Ready.
He's
All
ready
right.
and ripping, bro.
Love it. I can hear the Texas accent. We want to hear it all. Can't wait to
Right.
hear these stories. This is going to be good. Do we want to get patriotic real quick first?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Right.
guys. You guys all know the deal. We are one of the most patriotic shows in the game. And ladies and gentlemen, we bring you, to start things off, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderbar. Beautiful. All right, let's dive into Cap Jenkins' early life. Cap, tell us a little about where you're from, where you grew up. You know, a little early days of Captain Jenkins before you started to do the tango with the Red Devil and shooting defenseless animals. What did you do in the early days? Where you from, and how'd you get into the fire service?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Klein, Texas, which is north of Houston, about 30 miles. Grew up in the country. Grew up working in the field, milking cows. Then I got a job as soon as I graduated high school running a ranch up in near Central Texas. Rodeoed and met two firefighters, one from Killeen and one from Temple, that we rode bulls together and ran rodeos. And they told me how great being a firefighter was. So I ended up having to move back home and needed a job. Heard them advertising and went and applied. And
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Cap. I just want to. I thought I heard something here.
Yeah, you know what? I just Pete. What I'm thinking, I couldn't. This man couldn't make me feel more like a little boy. He was a bull rider.
Yeah. Wait. Were you doing like team roping,
just gonna gloss over that.
or were you riding bulls? Like, what was your rodeo? What part of rodeo were you doing?
well, I was riding bulls, but really they were riding me.
Oh man! So
Hey,
you're no JB Mooney. You're no JB Mooney, is what you're saying.
Oh no, I wasn't very good. The guys I ran with, one of them he rode bulls, rode bareback, and the other rode
Sheesh.
and rode bulls. So, but yeah, I wasn't very good at it. I just liked being around cowboys and.
That's how humble this guy is, right, bro? He was going to gloss over that. Like, yeah, I grew up, a couple of miles south. I landed the Apollo on the moon, and then I decided to get a job as.
Yeah, remember that whole thing, Houston? We have a problem. That was just me, but never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The
moving
whole
on.
eagle has landed. Then
Nah, no
Cap,
biggie.
do they ride the bulls?
Oh wait, okay.
Is that the same? Is they do that? Years ago. Is it the same exact way that they do it now? Just with like, what? I mean, how were you riding it there? Just a saddle? What were you doing?
Oh no, bulls! Yeah, you bull rope. It's just a rope. It's a braided rope that goes around the bull, and it's got a handle that's braided into it, and you try to hang on. And I didn't do a very good job of it.
Did you ever get that shiny buckle?
No.
Ah,
What's the shiny buckle for if you
Well-
ride?
Never got the shiny buckle.
you get a buckle when you win a rodeo, like when you at the
But
top.
I got to hang around some good guys, and it's all about the adrenaline, and it leads right over to being firefighters. That's why at least a lot of firefighters were one time, bull riders. So
I hear
See,
that when
you guys
Kevin's
didn't know this, Pete, but when we were kids, Ruffy and I would ride the bull, and Ruffy would kick him right in the nuts as hard as he could and see how long we could stay on the bull. I might have left that out at some point in my career.
I was just gonna say, Kevin, when you were a chauffeur, I hear it was likened to a lot of bull riding when guys were in the vehicle with you.
No, not like that, bro.
In the rig.
Nope.
Jeez.
So those guys that you were hanging with, they were firemen and they were in the rodeo, and that's kind of how you got the bug.
Well, that's how I got the bug to be a fireman. But their stories were not what I encountered in Houston. They talked about going to the station and going to sleep and getting up to eat. And
This is for me.
and and so it sounded good for a 21-year-old punk kid. And but when I got into Houston, it was anything but that. But I'm glad it was. So
Yeah, hell yeah.
So what was Houston like back then, Cap? Was it ripping? Were there a lot of fires? Was it going through the same war years as the rest of the country? Was it fiscally in trouble? What was Houston like then?
Oh, when I came in,
Yeah.
lots of fires, but lots of fire. I went to Station 7, and at the time, it was the busiest station in the city, busiest chief district. And but the day I walked in the door, the guys told me, they said, "Rookie, you should have been here before because it's dying." And but the number of fires they made the 2 and 3 years before I got there was incredible. But we made a lot of fires and a lot of quality fires. The construction in that part of 7's territory covered 3rd Ward, Montrose, and half of downtown.
What kind of buildings?
I'm sorry?
What kind of buildings were they? Mostly PDs, private dwellings. What were you going to?
Yeah, well, we made high rises downtown. We covered the medical center, but then it was private residence and primarily 2-story houses, balloon frame built out of shiplap, bull pine. You know what bull pine is?
No.
Hey, I thought the whole country was framed out of bull pine until I went to San Francisco about, 5 or 10 years ago. I'd never been to a big city before, and so I thought the whole country was framed out of bull pine. But it's old growth pine lumber, and it burns like gasoline.
I was going to say it burns nice, right? Yeah, it must burn nice.
Hey, it's awesome.
You guys have some different codes down there, don't you? Like, because you don't really need a permit to build anything or anything like that, right? So you could use gasoline to build a building if that's what you wanted to do, I'm sure.
Well, no, but hey, those houses, those built like prior to the 1940s, all wood, shiplap, and hey, we'd burn some of them 6 times, and you couldn't bring a track hoe and still couldn't tear them down without a struggle. So. Well built by craftsmen. So
highly flammable, though. That's what we like.
Yeah, because that wood's full of turpentine, and when it heats up, it all gets. And it separated. It definitely separated those who could and those who couldn't.
I like that.
Good.
All right, let's backtrack a little, Chief. 78. You entered the Houston Fire Department. How long before that did you take a test? Did you take a test to get on? It took a couple of years, or when did you take
it? Took about 6 months.
To
get on. I was actually an alternate. Got called in at the last moment, and but yeah, it took about 6 months.
Okay. How big is the department in Houston? Then and now.
Then was probably. I'd be guessing 2,800. And before I retired, that's the first time I used that word. Before I went on permanent vacation, Around 4,000, but now they're down about 700 firefighters. So,
Well, that's a pretty big department, though, right? Real 4,000 guys. That's
Oh yeah.
a really big, decent
at
size.
one time we were the third largest department in the country, fourth largest city, third largest department.
Wow.
But we've
Mhm.
got problems with politicians. And,
Oh
Ah.
no, no, that's not fair.
yeah, so the guys.
Come on, man.
Look at
Oh,
Cap.
Pete, before we get any further, we
say.
are we forgot to do something.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask you. In 1979, Captain Jenkins, did they have something called the Word of the Day?
He's like,
I'm aware of.
Well, today
what will
we
have
do.
today in 2022, Pete. It would be what?
Oh, the word of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, the word of the day is our little drinking game. Every time you hear the word or the phrase of the day, you may or may not want to take a sip. I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I don't want to help you drink.
Right.
I just want to tell you that some people like to. All right. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Today's word of the day is bad motor scooter. Whatever that means.
I don't know. Somebody's got to explain it. Ruffy or
Cap, what does that mean?
How did y'all come up with that?
Little bird. These little birds, they reach out to me all the time. That's what happens.
That's one of my words.
Is that so you don't curse? Is that what that is? Or?
Let's say I try not to curse now, but I did a lot of cursing probably the first 20, 30 years I was in the fire department.
No.
Yeah. But,
So you might tell somebody that they're a bad motor scooter.
Yeah.
I see. All right. I like that.
I like that one, man.
That's a term of endearment.
It is.
All right.
You would never tell a guy with a yellow hat that he's a bad motor scooter, though, would you?
Hey! Hey, what if I was wearing my double H boots? Is that okay? Am I a bad motor scooter then?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Awesome.
All right, so 78, 6 months to get in. You get called at 78. You go in the academy in June 19th, and you graduate. And that's a fairly long academy. That's a 4-month academy, right? You graduate October 17th, 1978 from the Fire Academy. And what's that?
We were 10.
10 months?
No. Oh,
We
what
were
was
10 years
months?
old. 10 years old.
Oh, we were 10. Yeah.
Oh,
My
y'all
wife
were
wasn't-
10 years old.
Yeah. My wife wasn't even born yet. Nice. Sweet.
I was 3.
Listen,
Sorry,
listen, we got to knock him down a few pegs. The guy's, landed rockets on the moon. He's full run. Knock him down a little bit.
He's riding bareback on bulls and horses for crying out loud.
Yeah, he's hunting. He's hunting bears with a pocket knife. For
the
Christ's
man. He
sake.
definitely is the man.
Yeah.
Very humble.
I like it. All right, so October 19th, you assigned to Fire Station 7B shift as a firefighter. So you said that was the busiest company. Am I mistaken? Did you say that the busiest company on the job there?
In Houston at the time, yeah, District 7 was the busiest district, and Station 7 was the busiest station for fire.
How'd you get there? By chance?
Actually,
here it is, Roof.
hey, I didn't know anybody in the Houston Fire Department, so when they asked us to put in for a position, I had been to Station 1 for a lie detector test. I knew where it was at, and so I put in for ones and A shift because that was the first letter in the alphabet. We had 3 shifts back then, and I became friends with the guy at the academy. We hunted and fished together, and his father-in-law was the chief at the fire academy, and he kind of got a heads up that his son-in-law was going to go to Station 7B shift, and him and the chief there hated each other. And so they made a swap, and I got to go to 7B shift. And believe me, it was the absolute best thing ever happened in my career.
That's awesome.
Sir?
Where are you here, Chief? I mean, Cap.
What was that again?
Which guy are you here in this picture?
Oh, the one that you can't see over here on my far right. Yeah, the very one on the far right.
The last guy on the right?
Yep.
That's you?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel!
Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Sorry, I'm just writing down a question. A gentleman in the chat asked a question. Oops, sorry. A gentleman in the chat asked a question that we're going to ask when we get to 1995. We're way away from 1995 right now.
So that's you all the way on the right there?
All the way on the right.
Wow.
Yeah. I was half the man I am today.
And who's Pete? Go to the left a little.
All right, stand by. Moving
Look at
along.
the guy with the red smoking jacket. I didn't know Hugh Hefner was a fireman, bro. Check that guy out there, man. He's got
What's
a
with
red,
the red-
smoking jacket.
What's with the red jackets, Dale?
The captains got red jackets back
Really?
then. Yeah, and I certainly kept looking forward to one day being a captain, getting a red jacket, and they did away with them before I ever.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Bad motor scooter.
Dale, how old?
Not me.
How long were you on the job with this picture? Was this like very early, like a year within the year? Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And what's with the white rig? What was that? What type of rig was that?
All the fire apparatus were painted white back when I came in, and then engine 7 was the first one that they went in and repainted and made red. But they probably didn't do that till like 1980.
What are they all now? They all red now? Cap?
Yeah, they're all red now. Oh, white was horrible. White was horrible.
It can't be any worse than the slime green ones. Those were horrible.
You're right. Our baby blue. But yeah.
So you were in the engine there. What companies were in Station 7? What's in there?
We had a ladder truck, an engine, and the chief.
So you worked in either company? Is that how it worked, or you were always in the engine?
Oh yeah, no, you worked either. Yeah, we didn't have assigned. You had assigned chauffeurs and assigned officers, but all the firefighters, for the most part, rotated. At this point, we rotated. Later in my career, there was some certainty to where you rode, especially truck.
And what did you prefer to ride back? Oh, sorry, Ruff.
No, go ahead, Coops.
What did you prefer to ride on, the engine or the ladder back then?
What did I prefer?
Yep.
I preferred first line to be on the nozzle.
Guy wants it. The knob is the job, right, Ruff?
Right.
The knob is the job.
But
what'd they ride with back then, Cap? How many guys in each rig?
Well, four, sometimes 5. It just depended. Our station was manned heavy because it was a chief's house, and if they didn't have people off, they'd ride heavy. And sometimes we'd ride short. Sometimes we'd ride 3. But for the most part, it was 4 on each apparatus.
And that includes the officer and the chauffeur, right? So you had 2 guys pulling a line.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Ruff, we were spoiled. With the 4 firefighters, a chauffeur, and we rode with 6, right? Man.
Yeah, but the majority of your fires are up, right? I mean,
true, good point. Yep.
Hey, we would have liked to have had more whenever we made high rises. You start packing all that equipment, but
oh man,
yeah,
but you blow your load before you get there.
Was everything mostly occupied, Dale, or were you doing vacant work at that time?
We had a lot of vacant, and the majority of the fires were arson back then. Probably 95% of fires were arson. And but I think it's when your department too was burning them up.
Arson for profit. Yep.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. When they were clearing like for a freeway right there by Station 7, instead of hiring somebody to come in and tear all the 2 stories down, they just hired them to burn them. And sometimes we'd make 2 big 2 stories a night, and it was good. Hey, it was good to get a lot of experience. And the great thing about working in that territory where the houses didn't collapse, they were built, pardon the French, but like brick shit houses. I mean, they held together. And so you got a lot of time to get in and fight fire and learn your trade. It was good.
All right, Ruffy, asking the question.
Yeah, Cap, well, hold on. Cap, in that picture, all right, so you want me to ask you the first? How long did it take you, Cap, when you first went to that firehouse to get your first job?
First night, 3 days to make a good fire. And back then we worked 3 10-hour shifts, day shifts, and 3 14-hour night shifts. And then you had 3 days off. And the first night we made 2 good fires over in the Montrose area, which is, I don't know if y'all know about Montrose. It's where the gays live or did. And
it looked like the guy with the yellow hat at all. I'm sorry, I was there, but I had to do it. I had to do it. That never gets old, Pete.
Yes, dickhead.
Neither does that.
Nope.
yeah.
So Montrose, that was a busier area there, or no?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because every morning we would come in, the question of the day would be, where was our first fire going to be? Was it going to be in Montrose, which was to the left coming out of Station 7, kind of to the west, or was it going to be in 3rd Ward, which was to the right? And we didn't want to burn anything but 2 stories. We didn't want 1-story houses. We wanted the 2 stories. But it was, I forgot what your question was, Lou. I got sidetracked.
No, I'm saying, like, was that Montrose was that generally where most of your work was, or was kind of spread out all over?
It was pretty much even split between 3rd Ward or Montrose. Right. And then we would go into downtown for high-rise fires. But it was a pretty even split. There really wasn't any rhyme or reason, one being specifically busier than the other.
That's generally a good. Petey, put that picture up. That other picture with the white truck again.
Oh, I had that one. But we'll
Cap,
get
who in this picture here? Who were the guys that you were really? Was there anybody in this picture that really took you under?
The first guy there, Don Sims, good guy. And then the next guy is Sid Lacombe. He drove the pumper. The next guy, Mike Casey. Hey, that guy had the highest threshold for pain of anybody I ever fought fire with.
Really?
Incredible. And he was always our attic man. If you notice, he's kind of on the thin side.
Likey.
Get him up that little ladder, right?
Oh my gosh. We would push him up in the cock lofts. And,
get up there.
He was the guy for it. And then the guy in the red coat, that's Anthony Tamburillo. They called him Tony the Tiger. He was my captain. The guy kneeling down is Ed Houck. He was a senior captain on the ladder truck. The other 2 guys I'm going to skip because they couldn't pour piss out of a boot. But,
I love that.
Are those 2 guys sitting right next to you?
No, the one right behind the guy in the red coat and the one kneeling. Those 2.
Okay.
But then the other one is John Burleson, and then right next to me is Rick Dale. John Burleson, I ended up when I went out on permanent vacation, his son that was born after we worked together was my captain at Station 7.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for a little Texas phrase like that, pouring piss out of a boot. That
You got it, Pete.
that made my freaking
Hold on,
night.
write him down, bro.
Well, that's just 'cause Texas is my favorite state in the damn union. And man, you guys have your own flavor, man. I really dig it. I really do.
I want to see that picture, that second picture there. Where is it?
Well, this is the later time. This is 1984, but the same place. So obviously 7. Tell us about this. This looks like it could have been Queens or the Bronx or something, right, Lou?
Put you down.
I put this picture in here because this made Firehouse magazine.
No kidding.
Yeah, but not in a good way. This is me coming out of the fire. And we were actually on the street when this call dropped, and there's supposed to be a guy trapped. And anyway, I thought we did a good job. We pulled the line. I went in before they got water on the line, did a search, came out. But they had this picture in their archives at Firehouse, and somebody wrote an article, and they used this. They said this was a prime example of a crew being driven out of a fire by choosing too small of a line.
Oh boy!
Oh God!
That's. Hey,
Why let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? Holy shit!
Yeah. So I thought we did a really good job. The guy wasn't trapped; he was drinking beer behind the strip center. But my first time in Firehouse wasn't a positive.
Dang it! Well, look at that though. It's
Looks like you
it's
got a little
ripping.
crispy in there, which is nice.
Oh yeah. What do you guys
Nice.
mostly use? 1.75 or what size were the hoses?
Yeah, well, it's an inch and a half, but it was red and it was a test hose. And there's another picture that goes with that before they charged it. And that's the one that they thought we pulled a red line. And which I have to admit, I did make that mistake a few times in my career, pull a red line and find out I needed inch and a half or inch and 3/4.
More water.
I got to ask you, Cap. You know, I think that we take for granted that the FDNY can just pull up to a hydrant. Were you guys working out of the rig mostly for water, or were you pulling up to hydrants mostly? Because I know it depends a lot around the country.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're first in, you're going to go in on tank water off your rig, and then start your attack, and then have someone, your next in company, either lay you a supply line from a hydrant, or your engineer operator. A lot of times they'll skull drag back to a hydrant, but you go in with your 500 gallons and get your search started, get your attack started, and then build from that.
We do that.
Yeah, how many companies on a box on a report of a fire or a confirmed fire?
Well, back when I came in, if we made a two-story house, you'd get 4 pumpers, a truck, and a chief. If it was a one-story house, you'd get 3 pumpers, a truck, and a chief. And in those days, now back then, every company was told to bring their water with them, meaning if they had a big 2-story burning, everybody. So we would end up technically with 3 or 4 attack engines on a fire, and we literally beat them into submission. They'd have so many hose lines pulled on them. It worked, but you know how the pendulum swings. So they, about the mid 80s, they came to us and said what we were doing was overkill. And so we went from literally 4 engines from a hydrant and 8 attack lines on a 2-story to 1 engine, 1 plug off 1 hydrant, and sometimes 2, 3 lines. So they kind of went from one extreme to the other.
So each engine pulls their own line, right? Nobody's backing anybody up. Nobody's doing any of that stuff.
No, and we didn't have incident command back then. I mean, the only thing you would hear a chief say is, "Hey, bring your water with you," meaning catch your own plug, lay in. But literally, I mean, we would make 2-story. You know, every crew would pull 2 lines, and you'd have 8 attack lines flowing 125 each, and then the fires didn't stand a chance. You overwhelmed. And we'll probably talk about this later, but we didn't ever have Maydays. You didn't have firefighters got lost. You didn't have, if a line blew in 2, hell, you had 7 more working. And so they said it was overkill, but it ended up biting us in the butt. And you'll see a picture later on.
I'm sure I could understand where that's going. Did you have issues with opposing lines ever?
With what now?
Opposing lines, where lines were coming in opposite each other a little bit, or no?
Not in my district, because my chief, you remember me telling you how I got there because the one guy didn't want to go? My chief, he ruled with an iron fist. I loved him. I liked it. I liked his mentality, real strict, but he didn't allow opposing lines. He was unburned attack, aggressive interior, get through the roof, cut holes. I liked it. But hey, if somebody did, and unfortunately, the first fire I ever made, we had a line stuck in a window on us. But he made them pay. They called him the Hook. His name was Hooker, and they called him the Hook. And hey, he would pull crews off to the side and tear them up.
No shit.
So it was good though. He protected his crews. He expected do your best job, and if anybody worked against you, he made them pay. So
sounds like someone we know, like our
Who's
buddy
that?
Lou. like our buddy Lou. Lou was all about his crews, man. Right?
No,
Yeah.
you got to protect your crews.
Dale, did they have any kind of rescue or squad back then, or no such thing?
They did have rescues, but back then I would say they were nothing like that's where guys back then kind of went to hide. It was embarrassing. Yeah, it was embarrassing. We would they'd bring them in on big fires and they couldn't hit their butt with both hands. And now that's not the way the rescues are today. Now, hey, they're awesome. They're good guys, cream of the crop. But back when I came in, it wasn't that way.
They couldn't pour piss out of a boot, right, Pete?
There weren't any bad motor scooters.
Oh, look at Petey. That's a good one, Petey.
Oh, man. Yeah, someone in the chat said they couldn't pour piss out of a boot with the instructions on the heel. I like that little addition. Nice. Nice.
All right, where are we, Kubi?
Well, after 3 years in Station 7B shift, we get promoted to engine operator, which we had a little discussion in the pre-show, and assigned to Fire Station 46 on the B shift, driving engine 46. So you become a chauffeur, which they don't use any longer today, right? They call it engineering operator.
Yeah.
So walk us through that a little.
Can I go back?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me just go back. I want to talk about a guy named J.D. Curtis. He was our chief. He drove the chief back when I was a firefighter. And he pulled more people out of burning buildings than anybody I ever knew in my entire life. And he would pull them out, and he would be doing mouth-to-mouth on them right there in the front yard. And I asked him one day how it was, because the only people I ever found were dead, and he would pull them out alive. And I asked him one time, I said, how is it you find so many live victims? And I'm not going to use the same terminology, but he said, well, Jenkins, I get in there before you guys on the pumper screw it up. So what he would do, if it wasn't going to be a multiple alarm fire, our Chief Hooker would turn him loose, and he'd run in, no air pack, crawl in under the smoke, find the victims, and pull them out. And that he did that his entire career, even when he promoted up to captain and senior captain. He was a guy I loved, but I also feared, because when he said we're going to die to go get them, he meant we're going to die to go get them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was an awesome guy. But I want to tell a quick story. We made a fire one day, and we didn't have air packs. We had them, but if they were broke, we didn't have air packs on this fire. And report of guy trapped. And when we got there, Engine 8's crew had already gone in, and they're come bailing out. You know, you take a deep breath. I sucked at eating smoke, I promise you. So they were bailing out. So we go in, and I'm fighting fire with one hand and trying to search, zero visibility. And I feel what feels like a body. And I don't have a light, and I can feel this chin, so I know I found a body. And I asked JD, I said, give me your light. I said, I found him. And he starts pushing on my head, and he said, start. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Let me back up. He gives me his light, and I shine it, and this guy is laying there, and his lips and his eyelids are burned off, and it's just teeth.
Oh, my God.
And I said, I found him. He's dead. And JD starts pushing on my head and says, start CPR. And he's a tough guy. And I'm pushing back for all I was worth. And he's hollering, start CPR. And in the academy, they had told us if you made somebody and you had trouble getting a seal on their lips, you could do mouth to nose resuscitation. But you had to pinch your lips. This guy didn't have any lips, but anyway, luckily JD looked over my shoulder and agreed the guy was dead. But I certainly feared that he was going to make me do a lip lock on a guy with no lips.
Oh man!
Looked like I had no lips.
Yeah,
that would have been harder than riding the bull, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, now you want to go to when I
46.
Unless you got another fire story, we go to 46.
Oh, I got all kind, but
No.
let's go.
All right, let's go to 81. promoted to, like I said, engineer operator with chauffeur and assigned to fire station 46B. So that's a pumper. Driving engine 46. Yep.
So hold on one second, Cap. So if you get, that's a promotion. Like for us, we just go to a chauffeur school. You actually get promoted to engineer, and then you change firehouses. Is that how that works?
And you have to study for promotion, take a test, come out good enough, and then you get promoted.
And you leave. It's just like getting promoted to a captain, right? You're going to go to a different firehouse.
Yep, wherever they got an opening. Depends on where you're at on the list and how well you did as to what choice you get.
So is 46 busy too?
Oh, real busy. Different kind of construction. A lot of sheetrock, more one stories, but real busy area. That's why it was the best I could do, and it ended up being good. I don't know if you noticed, I go back there several more times over my career. Spent a lot of time there.
I did notice
that. Yeah. But as the chauffeur now, you're no longer in there, right? You're getting water, hooking up, and that's it. Is that what the duties are of the chauffeur there, or the operating engineer?
Yep.
So you took the promotion.
Hook up and look up.
Hook up and look up now.
Yeah. But I promoted too soon. I didn't know any better. As soon as I came in, the guy said, man, study, and everybody was studying, and I studied, but man, I missed a lot of really good quality fires by promoting too soon. You'll notice the rest of my career, I stayed at every rank a long time.
Yeah, so that 41 years worth.
Yeah, firefighter. I didn't know any better. I just studied and promoted. It all worked out though.
How long would you have liked to stay if you could go back?
Oh, I don't know, probably 10 years.
10 years is a good number.
Yeah, 10 years at each rank. But hey, I honestly loved every position I ever rode. I wish I could have cloned myself, and I never wanted to be a chief. I wasn't smart enough to. But as far as, hey, I loved being on the nozzle. I loved being a captain on the pumper. I loved being up on roofs, cutting holes, I loved it all. So
you stayed there for how long? It says because then you transferred.
46 is a year, and then I didn't put down that I had to go on an ambulance, but I did. I had to go drive an ambulance. But I got to go work for Clifford Reed. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of the Reed hood. He invented the Reed hood back when I was working with him, and that's what Houston wore from the mid 80s until not long before I went on permanent vacation. So, but yeah, I was working for him driving the ambulance, and they let me ride first line on the pumper, but you never got the nozzle, not with Captain Reed. I love him to death, but he always got the nozzle.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do we have any pictures of those of 46, Petey, or no?
Negative. No 46.
How about ladder 7? Because you went to drive ladder 7 after you stayed a year in 46, and you did your ambulance run. Any pictures of ladder 7 there, Petey Piper?
I got 7 here. Hold on. I don't know if this is ladder 7.
No, that's my crew. That's my crew from Station 7.
Oh my God! Look at that picture.
Oh, hey, there's some hosses in there, brother.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
A couple of red coats in there. Couple of red coats.
Well, nice. Only one red coat. That's Captain Barr. I drove him.
On the left.
Yeah, I drove him on ladder 7. He was a senior captain. He tried to, and most of the time he succeeded in outworking all of us.
Really?
Oh yeah, heck of an officer, and learned an awful lot from him. The guy to his right is Carlos Rodriguez, probably the coolest guy under pressure I ever worked with. The guy in the middle with the red helmet's me. I was acting captain that day. Then the next guy, he came from Kansas City, Pat Crisp, but good fireman. The big guy, that's Bear. Hey, me and Bear, he always rode the right side of ladder 7. And our job was to go to the roof and cut holes. And I just kind of always tagged along. But this guy could throw a 2-section 35 by himself.
He looks it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, cut lots of holes with Bear. Jesse Ramos, the next guy, probably the most kind golly, he could do everything. There wasn't anything Jesse couldn't do. Then the last guy there, John Port, he had to retire. He had a heart problem, but he was a good guy, good fireman.
Nice.
So as the chauffeur now in 7, what are your responsibilities other than getting the company there to a job after you get there?
Okay, my job as a truck chauffeur was me and the guy on the right side went to the roof, cut a hole, and then we went in and opened up, pulled ceiling. And that's when we got to fight fire. It was shiplap, and so we had a tool called a 2-man pike pole. It had handles on both sides, and we'd work together and get that shiplap busted. And then when we got access to the attic, that was when Travis and I got our opportunity to fight fire. So it worked out great. So, and I got to ride captain about one time out of every 3 days we worked. So I made a lot of fires riding captain, and then drove the truck, got to go to the roof, cut a hole. It honestly was the best job I ever had, truck chauffeur on ladder 7, because I got the best of both worlds, fight fire and go to the roof.
Right. Yeah. So now how many guys were on the truck? Just 3 of you?
4.
Oh, 4. So the guy on your right, you're saying, is the guy who's sitting up in the front to your right. He wasn't an officer?
No, well, no. I'm sorry. In the jump seat to the right. My captain rode in the seat next to me to the right. But we did that because to communicate, I could just look across at Bear and nod my head, which meant we were going to the roof. And Captain Barr could look to the left and nod his head, and they were in charge of forcible entry and search. So without any, even saying a word, the guys knew automatically. We had pre-assigned jobs,
Right.
and unless it was something real out of the ordinary, you knew what your job was and you went and did it. So,
So the captain would go in and with the other guy and be on forcible entry. What tools would the forcible entry? What was he called? Was he called forcible entry? The other firefighter? What was the position?
No, he just called left side, but. Yeah, we didn't have it. We might have called it later in our career. We might have gave them more names, but just left side, right side. But you knew the right side was always going to be on saws, and left side's going to be search, forcible entry.
Hey Cap, I always break chops all the time with the peaked roof. Right, I see a lot of videos where, because in the FDNY we don't cut peak roofs, we don't go on them. So a lot of times I see like this shed fire, like it looks like a shed, and there's like 16 guys on the roof cutting holes.
Yeah.
Do you in Houston? You guys always, if it's a peak roof, as soon as you pull up and you see, you got a decent job, you're sending guys to the roof to cut.
If it's pushing out the eaves, I'm going to the roof. If it's pushing out the eaves, that means you got enough pressure that it's banking all the way down from your ridge to the eaves. And if those guys go in and pull ceiling, they vented the attic on themselves, which we actually had 2 firefighters die that way. And so, I kind of knew what I heard, but, I think a lot of it has to do with construction. I don't know. But, yeah, if it's pushing out of the eaves, I'm automatically going to go to the roof. Now I say that. I believe. Hey, we're kind of jumping forward now. Now we're all the way into where I'm a senior captain on a ladder truck. So.
No, that's all right. That's all right. We're just talking about this. That's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, we'll just we'll hit the topic, of peaked roofs because it's Lou's favorite.
Yeah. Oh, mine too.
Nice.
Ruff, I wonder what the percentage is across the country. I would say that most places probably cut holes at peak roofs. No.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen, I'm open-minded to anything. I'm not disagreeing with that procedure, obviously. The thing that generally irks me is I see, and it's not that there's not a line going in the front door, but I'll see 4 guys in a video. And again, each one of these videos, who knows what's going on, but for the most part, I see 4 guys on the roof cutting, and every window is intact in the house, right? The attic windows are still in, so I say, Cutting is a possibility, but that is the last. When we send the guy to the roof, cutting is the last option, right? That's the last thing. Top floor, we're probably going to cut, but on a flat roof. But he's got to take the windows. He's got to take the bulkhead. He's got to take the skylight. He's venting everything first. And when I see these videos, I don't see that. I see all the first floor windows are intact. I see all the second floor windows are intact. So how much venting could you be doing if you've got 16 guys running to the roof to cut on a peak roof?
Well,
and nobody's taking any other. I'm not saying Houston does that. I'm just saying in general, that's what I see.
But yeah, I don't understand now. I will say in the old days, all the way up until I promoted to captain, it was just 2 of us on the roof. And at the same time I promoted to captain, our department became more safety conscious. They wanted 3 on a roof, but I never did like 3. It was hard for me to keep track of a third guy. And, I think it worked out for us because if by going to the roof, cutting a hole and not taking out the windows, we controlled the fire and we took it up where it wanted to go. It worked. It's just like, and I know probably when I say this, half your people are going to get off right now. But, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden talking about nozzles and hey, I was taught to use fog nozzles. I'm sorry. I know all the smoothbore guys just left you. But I was taught to use fog nozzles, pump high pressure flow, high GPM, always pull 2, coordinate your attack. And it worked as a rookie. It worked as a firefighter. And I used that technique through my whole career. We changed hose size from 1.5 to 1.75. But anyway, it worked just like cutting holes worked. I mean, I learned before we got air packs, how important the hole cutters were for us.
I can understand. Yeah, I can understand that.
So anyway, it worked.
Do you guys push down? Like, are you able to push down the ceiling? Sometimes.
Not shiplap, because shiplap, well, most of those big old 2-stories, it might be 14 foot from where we cut our hole to the ceiling below. But shiplap, if you've got fire in the attic, or if fire that the lap on the ship lap burns away, and so you've got good smoke. As soon as you got your hole cut, you got smoke moving up, and then crews went in and pulled ceiling and opened up.
Well, that was the only reason I used to say that is because even you could cut a hole. But if you can't push down the ceiling, then you're just venting the cock loft, right? You're not venting for the guys, and that's really the initial stage. Is you want to, you can get the fire coming out, but if you're not taking glass, then you're not doing anything. I mean, I don't know. Again, like I said, I just wanted to know what you thought. I always make fun of the guys. It's just not what we did, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I'm always interested to hear what a experienced guy says,
Yeah. It's like when I went to San Francisco, I went and visited fire stations and none of what they did is what we did in Houston, but it didn't take but a minute to understand what they did worked for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the key. And that's why I wish the guys with smoothbores would get over it. Hey, I mean, I probably could put together 13 or 20 firefighters that fought thousands of fires successfully with fog nozzles and have good outcomes. But yeah, it worked for us. And I'll tell you, there's some parts of Houston that they won't go to the roof and cut holes, especially when they get into a lot of lightweight truss construction. Those chiefs won't put anybody on the roof. So, I think you have to tailor what works in your area to yourself. And I don't think, as long as guys are successfully getting in and making grabs, bringing people out alive and getting fires put out, I think it really should be kind of irrelevant as long as we're doing it and we're not getting people.
I agree. I agree.
Listen, they can't explain till the cows come home over there in San Francisco. I ain't buying the wooden lattice crap. Sorry.
It didn't take me but seconds to realize I've been a fireman in San Francisco. Those ladders.
Holy mackerel!
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of fires, I wanted to go over this one photo you sent us that was this is a gnarly one. Tell us about this.
Oh yeah, well, that's another one made Firehouse Magazine, but luckily it was in a good aspect. We had just left a really big hot fire over on Montrose area, and this call dropped over in Third Ward, and supposed to be people trapped. There had been a girl that had been kidnapped and raped, and she was tied up in this house. They set it on fire, but somehow she escaped before we got there. But we put this fire out with 2.5 inch fog nozzles. And I don't know if you can see where we're going in the front door. Hey, we never quit. We walked through it. These guys were I was blessed almost the majority of my career to work with some studs.
That's real deal right there, baby.
Yeah, they get in there and get it. And
you don't got to worry about vetting no roof there, my friend.
We don't have to find it.
I think I found the fire.
What a shot.
This is one of our typical big old 2-story bull pine balloon frame houses.
Oh, that's a big house. That ain't no little. That ain't a little dollhouse. That's a big house.
We made a lot of fires like.
Come back out on that picture. That's a big building.
Yeah, man.
Is that the common construction of that? That's a big building.
No, that's
not a ranch. I mean, that's not a ranch or something. That's what I was thinking a PD would be.
Those houses were built prior to the 40s, from 1900 to the 40s, mate. But hey, this house burnt, and we could have burned it 2 or 3 more times. There was one that we literally burnt each shift back when we had 3 shifts. Each shift burned it 2 times each before they tried to tear it down.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Well built by craftsmen, unlike a lot of what we run into today.
Sure.
Hey,
I
Cap,
thought
in
that
this
guy was
picture-
doing a fire dance there, Ruffy.
Yeah,
You see that guy?
I'm just looking. Did you guys have bunker pants back then?
Yeah.
You did.
Well, we had hip boots and we had bunker pants.
Yeah, the guy on the left's got hip boots. That guy.
Yep. I went to bunker pants as soon as I saw the guy in Chicago that got his gonads burnt when
Hell yeah.
a fuel spill they had foamed flashed over, and he was wearing hip boots, and I was 20. Well, I was a young guy, and so I went to Quick Hitches.
Yeah, that doesn't take much to figure out.
No,
I need my boys. You know
might
what I
need
mean?
those.
The guys were
sometime.
wondering if the line wasn't charged. Were you pouring piss out of your boots on the fire?
Hey, they're not looking at the right. We had multiple lines pulled. That line going in is charged.
There you go. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
We always pulled 2 attack lines off our engine and charged them. So they're always a coordinated attack, and it worked out. Hey, it worked out good for us.
So you mean to tell me that you guys wound up saving this?
Yeah.
Wow.
I will say, let me tell you this. When we got into where the stairs was, and the stairs was burnt out, but I'm sure y'all know how you can walk on your treads, the blocks on the side. We made our way to the 2nd floor and put it out. And we made lots of fires like this. It just happened to be one that we got a picture of. And back in those days, nowadays a young firefighter, they got more pictures from the time they step off the apparatus to the time they door.
It is true.
The only way we got pictures in the old days, we had a photographer from one of the papers. He would ride with us and take pictures and sell us one and give us one for the station. So
I gotta ask, right? So, as the idiot civilian, as everyone knows,
I'm glad you said it.
How do you attack this fire? You come upon this, you charge the lines, and then what do you start doing? I mean, do you just start pouring water on everything, or is there a system to this as you come into something this big?
Yeah. Well, you have to work your way in the door. And honestly, that's where I thought our fog nozzles worked so well. Because if I had heavy fire coming out the door, if you see the room to the left, this was the only room that was unburned. And that's where we were. Once we worked our way in and made a left. Then that room is where we got a search done. But then you have to take it one step, one
room at a time, and don't pass fire.
Like eating, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah, man.
Right. So yeah, you don't pass any fire, and then you clear the first floor, and then you start making your way up. Then yeah.
And when we get the second line in play is when you really start to make an advance. A lot of times without that second line, it's a slow. Sometimes you can't move, but you get that second line in there, and here is what I was taught. Back in those days, you had 1.5 inches, and the maximum flow was 125 gallons a minute. On your 2.5, your maximum flow with a fog nozzle was 250, or with the 1 1/8 tip, you had 265. But the problem with the 2.5s was getting to where the fire was at. I mean, so many crews, including me, had trouble making the corners with that 2.5.
It's not mobile and agile enough to get.
It's heavy as a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hated it. I always knew
that's what you got to do, Petey. We get him to the academy. Have him whip around a 2.5 roofie.
Oh yeah, but I was taught as a rookie. We pulled 2 1.5s flowing the same total GPM as the other crews did on a 2.5. But we not me, but my guys that I worked with, they'd walk past them and around them and get to the. If you can't get that line up on the second floor, you're not going to put it out.
It's pointless. Yeah.
And so, and it's just the same mentality I carried through my whole career. And I would like to say it was a successful career.
Did you guys have deck guns on the rigs for this kind of thing?
Yeah, we had deck guns. And if you could get close enough to them, sometimes you deck gun it. At one point, we had squirts, which are quints. Yeah. They worked good on some real big. If you made them totally, if this thing had been totally involved, if this room to the left had been going, then maybe they would have. Well, what am I saying? I was first officer I was an acting captain, but it was my call. And
well, I'll tell you right now, Cap, if guys are pulling up even in New York for this type of fire, and the chief is there, they ain't going in like that anymore.
No, they got
not anymore.
Let them in there. Nope.
Well,
even if it's involved, I mean, you're just going to have to use the reach of the stream initially when you get in there. But I mean, I would say the way that looks, even in my last couple of years, showing up to jobs like that, the chief wasn't letting people go in there if it got to look like that. Well, so it's changed a little bit.
No, well, and that's where we transitioned to. But again, that one uninvolved room, that was our target. And I have to agree. Now, but you have to remember too, we made a lot of these, and none of the houses we made back in those days collapsed. We didn't have roofs come apart on us. We didn't have houses collapse. And you've heard me say a couple times, the buildings were built by carpenters that were craftsmen, but those don't hardly exist anymore. Guys, if they can shoot a nail gun, they're a carpenter.
Right. Yeah, and right.
They don't use the construction today. I mean, now the houses, the roofs come apart, the houses collapse, and so you have to change your tactics. I mean, my tactics on the roof changed several times over my career, and if you don't change, I mean, you're gonna bury firemen.
Yeah, you got to change.
Wow. Really, thanks for explaining all that. Appreciate it.
All right, where are we, Kooby Koobs?
We're selling fog nozzles now on the website. Is that what we're doing?
Well, actually, that's another question. The fog nozzle, to me, right? I don't know. Again, shit from Shinola, but the fog nozzle sounds like it doesn't. Does it not have a powerful stream, or does it have a powerful stream?
It's adjustable.
It's adjustable.
You can make it like a sprinkler,
straight stream, like your
stream.
Oh, okay. So it could reach. You could reach out and touch something.
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Yep. All right. Let's move up to 91. Promote captain assigned to station 25. I'm sure is another rock and roll in place. 25
Yeah.
B shift on engine 25.
Yep. And 25s is between 46s and station 7. So I made
No
fire
shit.
with my old crews, and it 25 sits in the heart of Third Ward. Made a lot of good fires there. We were in 91. We went to 4 shifts, from 3 shifts to 4 shifts, and the B shift was the new shift. And so all of my firefighters, everybody that came to 25s was somebody else's reject. Everybody had to give a trade in.
So they all gave you their worst,
Oh my
quote
God.
unquote. Yeah, yeah.
Could not put my first crew. You couldn't push them in a burning building. I mean, and here's the sad is my whole career I had worked with outstanding firefighters, and I didn't know what the rest of the city was like. I never worked outside my district, and all of a sudden I get rejects from the outskirts, and I was dumbfounded. I mean, what I saw and what I experienced with them, and I might have been a little intense, and so I got a reputation for being a prick, but you know, nobody that's a piece of crap is going to go home and tell anybody that they're a piece of crap. They're going to go home and tell that the officer's a prick.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time for 9 years getting permanent crews, but I did get some. I got a rookie named David Pate, ended up being a jam up firefighter, but he was a rookie. He couldn't leave, you know, so he was stuck with me until he could. His first day at the station, we made 2 butt-kicking fires, and he walks in the station, and we go and pick up a brand new pumper. First run he makes is to go pick up a brand new pumper. When we turned it in the next morning, the windshield was cracked and the lights were melted on the right hand side.
Way to go, kid!
Sorry, bud. So
He's a keeper.
But he ended up being a good hand.
Were you able to hold on to enough guys to turn the place around, or?
No. There's a picture in there of Ruben, the guy in the white shirt. He was a volunteer firefighter, and he rode with us when I was at Sevens as a truck chauffeur. And he was a Houston volunteer, and I would call him all the time because I didn't have anybody that you could. I didn't have anybody would go in a burning building, and I was always getting my butt chewed out by my chief for being on the nozzle, but there was nobody that I could give the nozzle to. So Ruben was one of my regulars, and unfortunately, he got killed on a fire we made in '96.
Holy shit!
Left a wife and 7 kids at home, and he was
wow.
But he was probably one of the 10 best firefighters I ever fought fire with. And this comes back. Remember me talking about how the pendulum swung and we went from 8 attack lines to 2? Well, the night I pulled up on this fire, we had 2 lines. And long story short, house flashed over. Ruben didn't make it out and our lines blew in 2. So anyway, bad deal. But this was the beginning. Hey, until this happened, Houston Fire Department went 105 years and never killed a single firefighter inside a burning building. Now, it killed a lot of them, you know, motor vehicle accidents, collapses on the exterior, but not inside burning buildings.
105 years.
105 years.
Time.
And Ruben got killed in '96, and today I think they're at 15 dead firefighters killed inside burning buildings.
Damn.
The fires changed, the construction changed.
Yeah, what burns has changed. Yep.
And unfortunately, my department didn't change. They're still, most of them are still pull up with 1 engine. We changed, my district changed. We implemented our own guidelines for fires, minimum GPM flow, getting backup water supplies and all that. But we looked at how many dead firefighters we had that had been killed inside burning buildings and said, what went wrong and what could have been done to stop it, to lessen the chance. And you can't do less. Fires are always trying to overwhelm you. And I'm sorry, I'm getting up on my soapbox.
No,
No,
it's
it's
good.
okay.
okay.
Go.
Okay.
Do it.
Cap,
stuff,
don't,
Cap.
don't even stop. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, keep going. This is the good stuff.
Yeah, but you have to make changes based on, like you said, Lou. I mean, what we did and did successfully back in the 70s and 80s. You couldn't keep doing it. Now, unfortunately, I knew fires. I knew several things were happening. When I was on ladder 7, we were cutting holes. We knew that the holes we were cutting weren't getting the job done, and so Travis Bear, he was smart enough to know, and he said, "Hey, we got to start making bigger holes because it wasn't solving the problem. We weren't relieving the pressure." And but then when I made captain, I knew that we were getting burnt more than we used to. We were having more flashovers, but I didn't know what was happening. But what was happening was the construction was changing and what the houses were filled with. I mean, they got 400% more contents than they did back in the 70s and 80s. And now it's solidified gasoline, it's plastic, synthetics. Yep. And so once we finally realized, after unfortunately having some really bad fires, then we made changes. At least in my district, we did. I tried to push it, but making changes, I wasn't a chief, and so I couldn't. All I could do is suggest.
Cap, what do they always say, right? Firemen hate two things: change and the way things are now, and change, right? So it's just the way it is. But you can't keep burying.
You can't keep burying firefighters.
No, I understand.
No. I mean, no guys for 105 years, and then 15 from 96.
Oh yeah.
That in itself has to realize. You have to realize that things need to change. You have to change with the times.
Well, it almost always. What do we say all the time? It always comes down to water, right? The captain was saying they used to have 8 lines, 6 lines, 2 lines. Now they're down to, if something goes wrong with that line and guys are in there, that's the same thing that happens with us. It's always it's a water issue.
Water problem.
Yep. Always.
I don't get it. I never have understood the water issues. We didn't have water issues. We trained and drilled. Now I was fortunate that all of my crews, for the most part, but 25s, hey, they were always wanting to be better, always trying to better themselves. And we didn't have water supply issues when the other districts did. And it's almost always a lack of training on our part in Houston. They keep changing the size supply line, trying to solve the problem of not enough water. It's about guys not knowing the job. So I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that's fine. Cap, so how long were you at 25 then?
9 years, I think. 9
Wow,
years.
yeah, 9 years. Holy shit, man. And then you finally make it back to 46. You said that number will come up again, and you transfer to 46 to become the captain as the engine, right? It looks like you stayed. That's where you stayed most of your time, 16 years.
Yeah, and then my problems were over. I mean, now I'm back at a big station, great crews, love to train. We made a lot of fires, and so life was good from here to the end of my career. So,
guys make your life easy, right, Cap?
Yeah, 25s was really the only glitch, and it's just when you start off, it's just hard to recover.
Yeah. So you catch any good jobs that you want to speak about from the 16 years and 46?
Wow, 16 years and 46.
Man.
Well, no, 16, I was at 40. I was a captain for 16 years. So 7 years, 9 years at 25s, and then 7 years at 46s. So, man, we made lots of fires.
Anything that stands out in your mind? Any good jobs?
Wow. Let's see. I had notes. A lot of good it did. I never even looked at my notes.
There you go. Take your time.
Wow. I'm still over back in 81. How are we on?
Back in 1981,
oh, Oh man, yeah. Hey, we made we got dispatched an apartment fire one night, and we're probably 4 miles from it. It's over by the Astrodome. And right as we went to get on the freeway, the dispatchers, you could hear them hollering that somebody jumped, and we could see flames. So we knew we had one working. And we get on scene, fourth pumper, and we got 13 people trapped on third floor, bellowing black smoke. You can't hardly see them. But anyway, I had a brand new rookie. And to say he couldn't pour piss out of a boot was an understatement. I take him to the third floor with me. We rescue an old guy, or I should say he rescued himself. Once I got the ladder up to the third floor, that old man, he was 80-something. He was coming down whether I was going to help him or not.
Oh, man.
Get out of the way.
These apartments are getting it. And at one point, you know how you separate, you know about the 95-5 rule, how 5% of any profession, is passionate about it.
Yeah. The top
5% collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
At one point, I was in this apartment in there with a line by myself, and I had 2 captains and my rookie and 4 firefighters on a balcony. None of them would come in. And at one point, I ran out of air, and I crawled back to the balcony, and I told him, I said, "Hey, I'm out of air." And this captain took his air pack off and gave
it. You should have grabbed the old man that came down the ladder and handed him the nozzle, bro.
Take the 86-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. But, hey, we made that was just – I'll tell you. Let me tell you another, because I want to tell the story on this firefighter. I had 2 30-year-old rookies, which was awesome because they'd had jobs before. And we make this nursing home on fire one night. And it's burning on the second floor. The first in crew pulled a line, wouldn't make it. And so we get a line. When we pop the door, we got zero visibility. We got to go down this hallway about 200 foot to the room that's burning. And long story short, all of my crews, they rescued all these elderly people off balconies and all, did an incredible job. But one of my rookies, Roderick Taylor, the next day he told me, he said, "Captain, whenever we open that door," he said, "that's the most scared I've been in my entire life." And I thought, that's pretty incredible, because he kept putting one foot ahead of the other. We were actually crawling down the hallway, but he never flinched. I'm not sure the most scared I've been in my entire life. I kept moving forward. I can't say I did, but I was always impressed. And he just promoted to captain recently. So good guys.
Listen, a lot of those guys, right, Cap? They don't know how far they can go unless somebody's showing them how far they can go, right? So the fact that you're doing that now, he knows, because he might never get to that point. So and we talked about that on the show a lot.
Yeah, you got to lead, and I think for the most part I led. Now I will say, when I was a rookie, if we can jump all the way back to 78, can we?
Sure,
of course.
When I was a rookie, I thought every captain's knee was up in the rookie's butt, because my captain, he always had his knee in my ass. And I thought that's just the way captains did it. But he led, but he led from the rear, pushing me forward. And honestly, it was a good for me. It was training, because that first fire we made, it wasn't natural to go in. I thought we were crazy.
Yeah. Well, we are, but
and so, it's 2 different schools of thought there. But I tried to lead on the real bad stuff, and then have the guy on the nozzle get up in front of me once we got, where we needed to be. I'd get behind him and back him up. But it worked out.
A little bit at a time. Let him build his confidence up instead of throwing it into
Petey, show that picture that is going to be on the Instagram page tomorrow.
You got it. This is maybe.
Could be the most iconic picture I think I've ever seen so far.
This is probably the most iconic photo we've ever seen.
Oh, hey,
Holy smokes!
This is my crew on ladder 7. I was off, and that's Captain John Burleson, Hilario Martinez that cuts lots and lots of holes, and then Brittany Marcette is up there, and that's they unfortunately my last 2 years in the fire department, I think they made more fires when I was off than.
Hey, listen, you're not supposed to be there. It's not meant to be. But
I had jam up crews. Never missed a lick whether I was there or not. I think I just held them back.
I love that the guy, whoever took that picture, is taking it through the ladder. Like, that's incredible, man.
Yeah. And, you know, it's one of these photos that, like I said in the pre-show, you really, if you tried to stage this photo, you couldn't do it in 4 days of like lighting and all this stuff. And someone just snapped the shot away while you guys were at work, man. What a freaking shot. And we just had Noonan on the show, man. This is easily as good as anything he's done. I mean, in my humble opinion. So way to shoot it. Whoever shot this, God bless you.
Yeah, there's several other pictures that go with this, but Lou made me cut my pictures down.
You know what? Who really made you cut it down is me, honestly. But that's okay.
Well, Lou sent me the bad news.
Oh no bad news at all. We have to. You know,
that's a great freaking picture.
But I got to ask you two questions from the chat, okay? Because they did send in a couple super chats. One was, can you tell us about the chemical warehouse fire in 1995, or were you involved in that?
Yeah. Oh, Market Street. Yeah, I was involved in it. 7-alarm fire. We made it on a 5th and spent 21 and a half hours there. I took at one point, we were assigned to go in and do a recon on this warehouse that wasn't involved. But it was full of rocket fuel, and nobody knew it until actually, yeah. This was a distribution warehouse, and so trains came in and unloaded product that then got shipped off. And they had organic peroxide stored, and I'm telling you, lots of barrels of it stored right next to hydrazine. And the two combined is rocket fuel.
What?
Yeah, they got to care of
the bad shit.
So, was the fog nozzle enough for that one? Or?
He's a bull rider. He's a bull rider and a rocket scientist now, bro.
Ladder 19 burned up on that fire because this green stuff was running out of the warehouse, and it as soon as it hit air, it was burning and floating on top of the water, and so ladder 19 burned up, but. We spent 21 and a half hours there, and 6 months after. Oh, I'll tell you this. When I went to take a shower, I threw my keys on my desk, and I looked back. It ate the chrome off of my key ring in my pocket.
What?
Yeah. And, hey, we deconned all of our own equipment because I didn't want the other shift to have to get it contaminated. But I washed my mask with soap and water, and 6 months later, I went to put it on one morning, and the chin piece you could roll it up into balls. It disintegrated.
Wow. I was going to ask you, did any of you guys take a beating on that one, or
a beating?
Like meaning like your lungs? Were you anybody hurt from that?
Well, I don't think anybody got hurt during the fire, but I think long term it did.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally ate chrome off of fire trucks. And
I'm out on that shit.
Dude, you just I'm out.
Yeah, 1,700 different chemicals involved.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a fire that I would have preferred not to have gone to.
Oh yeah.
Are you okay personally?
I'm good.
It looks good.
Because you look good. I'm just asking.
It made me age a lot. And I lost my hair.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I must have been at that same chemical fire.
Look what happens when you don't go down any chemical fires. You still keep your hair, but you have to wear a yellow cap over it. That's the problem.
I think there's 2 more questions, Pete. There's a
Yeah,
$20
exactly.
one.
2 more quick ones. So they're also asking if Houston has a solid hydrant system, or does it sometimes have water challenges?
No, I don't think we have water, or Houston has water challenges. I mean, the hydrant system's pretty good. It's almost always operator error when I don't get it. I still don't get it to this day when I hear them talking about they're calling the water department and telling them to boost pressure. And we got fire trucks that, I turn a hydrant on. I got 40 pounds of residual pressure on a hydrant, and you're telling me you can't pump water. At least in Houston, I think the bulk of the problems, unless something's happened since I went on permanent vacation, bulk of the problems in my career were people just not not knowing. Hey, kinked supply lines.
Let's call it operating error.
Operator error, yeah.
Well, that's generally how it happens. You could see how that can happen if things are going bad and he can't find what's happening, or she can't find what's happening. I mean, that's why we generally have another operator, another chauffeur come just to have an outside look, because you can get into that zone where you can't figure out what's happening and the rig is running away from you. So it's better to have somebody come take a peek at it.
The holy 5 minutes of terror.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've seen them pump into themselves.
I've seen that. I've seen them charge the bed. I've seen the bed charged once. You need a lot of fittings to do that.
Yeah, man.
I guess
there's one more, Pete. I think.
Yeah, the other one was can you let us know if you've operated in the North Loop incident?
In the North Loop incident.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're talking about Eric App's fire where he almost died trapped on a high rise.
Maybe. I'm assuming
that's going to be the North. No, I didn't. I listened to it from home on part of it, and Eric, the firefighter they're referring to that got trapped on the upper floor. He used to drive me on engine 46. Good. He's a chief at 28s now. But no, I didn't. I was off. I had nothing to do with the North Loop incident.
Okay, and then I got one last question. We all know, clearly, we all know this as a matter of fact, not opinion, that Texas has the best barbecue in the country. Screw Memphis and all these other places. What's your favorite barbecue? What's the best barbecue in Texas, in your humble opinion? I got to know.
Well, I just had it 2 Sundays ago. One of the guys at our church made a brisket, and I'm telling you, he needs to open a store. Hey, it was
always the local guy.
All right, so when we come down to visit Captain Jenkins, that's where he's taking us.
So it's not the Salt Lick, it's not Black's or Rudy's or anything like that.
We have a Rudy's. They're okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
I think some of your best is homemade. That's what this guy did.
Nice.
Hey, it was awesome. One of the guys at our church, he was smart enough to invite him to come to Thanksgiving dinner as long as he brought it. So
nice.
It's pretty good.
Making me hungry now.
One more quick question from the chat. Hey, Cap, were you working on May 31st, 2013? I don't know what that means.
I made the fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was the Southwest Freeway fire that collapsed and killed 4 right away, killed a 5th about a year later, and we had 19 that were injured. Some of them never coming back to work. It was an inn with a Spanish tile roof and good firefighters, and it just no warning that came down on them.
Oh shit!
Yep, horrible. Yeah, I was a safety officer at that time, and I want to talk about the safety officer at some point. I don't want people to think that I was your typical safety officer. But there were only 3 safety officers in the city, and all 3 of us were on that fire. And it almost killed other firefighters. It was incredible how many collapses we had until they finally just pulled people out,
a shame.
that part.
Yeah. All right, so let's move up to 2007, Cap. You get promoted to senior captain now, which means you have to leave after 16 years of 46, and you go to Station 21 on Tower 21.
Correct.
So you're the senior captain now. Unfortunately, there's no longer a red jacket, so you don't get the red jacket.
No red jacket. Red helmet with a white shield. That was it.
Did you catch some good work on the tower?
I ended. One of my guys from 46s came over with me, and we ended up with a great crew on the tower. But just didn't make enough fires. I always have to be busy. I can't chill out. And so I have to be at a busy station. And so as soon as I could, I got back 46s.
But you went to the truck, right? Instead, you went to ladder instead of the engine.
Yeah. I went back
in 46 again. You spent a lot of time in that firehouse.
Yeah. Busy station. Great crews. Man, we had good time. Lots of training. But yeah.
So when you went back there, a lot of the guys were still there, Cap?
Oh no, actually when I went back on the truck, I went back on the A shift, and that chief asked me to help him clean house, which there were some guys needed to go. And remember that reputation as a prick.
Cap, you just took the words out of my mouth. Who do you call? Let's call the prick. Let's get
yeah. Well, anyway,
let's clean it up a little bit.
We made room for some really, really good guys to come, and that's what once we did. I mean, there were good guys there, but there were some guys that they needed to go somewhere else. They were the 95 percenters, and 5 percenters don't have room to be 95 percenters hanging around. So anyway, ended up with great crews, cut lots of holes, made lots and lots of runs, and it's good.
We never talked about it. How many runs do you guys do in a year, roughly, Cap? How many runs would you guys do a year? You said lots of runs.
Well, 1 year at 40, when I was a captain at 46s, we had 6 apparatus, and the station made almost 20,000 runs that year. All the apparatus, put together, which sounds like a lot, but it's only average like 9 runs. But unfortunately, some of your EMS units, you are making 25. Right. Now, one when I was a captain on the engine, one day we made 28, and the next day we made 21. So we made 49 runs. That was my busiest day on the pumper. But we stayed busy. We probably
49 runs in a shift. You did?
Yeah, in a 2-day shift. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You better get the cigar cutter out for that tour. I tell you that much, right, Roof? You don't want to get caught.
Tell you what, I left one day. Back then we only had one computer for the officers. The chief had a computer, and then the officers and all the firefighters shared one. And I left, and we made 14 runs before we ever made it back to the station. And when I backed in, my chief, and I loved him to death, but he came and opened my door. And he said, "You're 14 run records behind." I had one of my rare meltdowns. You got to be kidding. So, no, we were 46s always made a lot of runs, but the fires, that I watched that over my entire career. The fires just continuously less and less. I kept the log starting in 91 when I made captain. And almost every year, unless you had an arsonist show up. Once the arsonist went away, and your fires just continuously went down.
Right. Somebody in the chat wanted to know, why did they get rid of the red coats? Any specific reason? Or
I think they probably know in the city of Houston it costs more than the regular coats. It's always about money.
Yep.
It always isn't it? And we got one more question actually from the chat from a kid named Ben. He's an 18-year-old kid who would love to hear your best advice for someone like him who has dreams of becoming a firefighter in Connecticut.
Hit me up on Facebook. I do lots of training. I write lots of stuff, most of it ventilation related, but Get all the training you can. Hey, find a good firefighter from your area that is the 5%er, and let him become your mentor. I mean, man, when I think back to who my mentors were, they totally put me on the right road. But if he's got any questions, I'm on Facebook. Lots of guys will, what do they call it, PM for the longest period of time. And Lou, you know, I'm electronically challenged after Sunday. But for a long time, I thought PM was somebody wanted me to do preventative maintenance on their vehicle or something. But no, if he can hook up with a good mentor, and that's, you know, that's, you got to probably feel out some other firefighters and ask for their recommendations to know who a good mentor would be. And so there again, Lou, like what we talked about, some of what I write may not work in other departments. You know, it's just my opinion. I don't write about anything that I didn't do. I only write about my experience, what worked for me.
What you saw, right, what you did.
Yeah, what worked, and that's it. And it may not work somewhere else.
Reach out to Procaccini in the chat. He's a Connecticut firefighter and a rescue. So give him a little tickle. Maybe he could be a good mentor. And his wife is hot too, so that don't hurt. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Captain, he's like, oh, shit.
Kid, don't get any stares going. You stare into the sun too long, you go blind.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. All right, so let's talk about safety officer, which you did for 5 years.
Yeah. Hey, I took the training, way back in 2000, I think, because there are only 3 safety officers in the city. And so you get to run the city, make more fires. But, you know, I think most people think safety officers are supposed to stand outside. And it's kind of what, if you read the standard for safety officers, supposed to make sure guys have their right bunker gear on and stay out of the collapse zone and all this stuff. But that wasn't my plan, and it's not what I did. I made lots of fires, and what I did is I looked at the scene. Now, I watched out for guys' safety, but sometimes the most dangerous area was on the roof, or sometimes it was interior. And so if interior was more unsafe, I became interior safety. The first time I assumed rooftop safety, they called me and wanted me to explain it in the office. And whenever I told them, I said, well, the guys were cutting on a truss roof, and I thought maybe they needed somebody to watch out for them, make sure they didn't make mistakes. And they thought, well, we never thought about that. So I did. I pulled more slack in 5 years as a safety officer. I guarantee I did more forcible entry in 5 years than I did my whole career. And it's the first time in my career, other than when I drove Engine 46 as an EO, it's the first time in my career I spent any time outside. And so I got to see and learn some stuff that I never learned by being inside or on the roof.
Yep.
But I ran with some really good chiefs, and they would take my advice on ventilation. Some of them wouldn't, but most of them would take my advice on ventilation and maybe tactics. I gave them my input. At the time I had over 30-something years in, so a little experience.
A little bit.
But it was a good run, but I missed having a crew. I ran by myself, which there's some advantages to that. But man, if they'd have gave me 3 people on my Suburban,
they would be calling lines all over the place.
They'd be calling you the rescue.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and that's exactly right. But it was a good gig. I mean, a lot of chiefs put me interior. And again, forcible entry, man, I tell you, you really find out how poor some people are at forcible entry. That they'll can't pour piss out of a boot. Coops. So anyway,
Coops, how many guys can you fit in the fire building?
Oh, at least 5
more.
more.
No, at least one more.
Now it's the safety guy. Yeah. I just want to expand on one thing the chief said. Chief, the last year of the job, I drove my brother as his aide. He was a deputy chief. And like you said, I think everybody should take a rotation through that because you can learn a lot from looking from the outside in on the perspective of fire. There's a lot of knowledge to gain. You know, even if you did a 6-month stint, whatever it is, it's definitely worth the time. Time well
Yes, when
spent.
the chief's telling you to get out, and you're like, give me 2 more minutes. Meanwhile, you got like 60
Yeah.
floors of fire, and
Yeah.
he's like, get out now, you know. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
we got,
No,
we're
no,
knocking it
give
down,
me
you know?
give me 1 more minute. I got it, Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you come out, and you're like, you look up, and you're like, holy shit.
All right, so at 17, you didn't have enough. The man did not have enough. He still wanted more. He goes back just when he thought he was out. Goes back to Station 7, A shift, and now he's assigned to Ladder 7 as the senior captain on the tower, on the truck. Only another 7 years he does that, rough.
No, I was only there from 17 to 19 before I went on vacation. So, but that's where I began my career, and that's where it ended.
That's right, because you came in as on 7 when you came out of Proby school, right?
As a rookie.
You walked in.
Now was that purpose? Did you do that on purpose? You knew you were gonna take a vacation.
It came open, and it just seemed like it all kind of made sense, you know. And so I wanted to go out having added something positive to the department. That's one thing I did as a safety officer. Let me back up to safety officer. I went somewhere and gave classes every day that I wasn't working on a fire. And part of the safety officer's job was to fix or replace some broken equipment, radios and stuff. And crews found out if they would call me and say, hey, my radio doesn't work, 9 o'clock at night. I said, okay, well, I'm going to come. But if I come, I'm going to give a class. And it got to where they figured out how to fix their own stuff. They didn't want
Don't call Jenkins.
Yeah, don't call.
The ball game's on tonight. Don't call Jenkins.
It's the Super Bowl, you idiot. Don't call. Send smoke signals. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, it was but it was just I had a bunch of young guys at sevens, and they were sponges, wanting to learn, and I had a little bit of experience I could share with them, and it worked out good. It was perfect. I mean, they carried me across the finish line, that's for sure. But
hey, Cap, I say all the time, like in your career, I mean, I didn't do 41 years, but when I look at my career, there's like these sweet spots, right? Where there's a couple of years there where you're just hitting it perfect, and you got the right guys working with you, and everybody's bought into the system, right? And it's perfect, and you're catching work, and everybody loves it. And then things change, right? Some guys get promoted, or you get promoted, and some guys retire. And then you might have like a lull, like you said, where it's not as it was. And then all of a sudden, boom, you come back, and you have another sweet spot where you meet some new guys, and they're kind of on the same page, but you're a little more experienced. And that's your career, right? That's how you look back and you see how special things are. Until I retired, I was just looking at your date. I retired October 31st of 2019. So we kind of got out a couple of days apart. You did 41, I did 27. And, it takes a little bit of time to look back at your career. And obviously me doing this, it keeps me close, right? So I don't have to, I don't have that. Some of the guys that come on, they're a little bit, still hanging on because they don't have this where we're talking about fires all the time and we're not breaking balls and we're not laughing about it and all that stuff. So for me, it's, I thank my partner because I probably would have been in more of that, alone type of feeling, you know what I mean? So, but when you look back at your career, it's your career, and it's just looking at, from what you said and talked about it, people would cut their pinky toe off to have, what you had, So you done
Half
good.
Of what the man had, no doubt.
As that they
Not
say on
even
Sheffield
41.
Avenue, you done good.
You done Sheffield. Follow the smoke, kid.
Follow the smoke, kid.
Never heard of it.
All right, let's talk about October 19th. You walked through the same door. I had 41 years ago to the day, and you worked your last debit day, whatever debit day is.
Yeah, debit day is a day you have to work to make your hours. So you're working with another shift that you normally don't work with. But for that to happen, a buddy of mine, Troy Campbell, he was a senior captain on ladder 7 on that shift, and he took a fill-in to make a hole so I could go back to 7.
Nice.
That's what the brothers do. Look at it.
Yeah. So he made it happen. But, that was just kind of neat. I walked in that door as a rookie 41 years earlier on that date, and I walked in as a senior captain on my way out to permanent vacation. So
Petey, who's that? What's that picture with the other the captain standing in front of the rig with one of those old timers there he was talking about?
Yep, I got you. One sec. There it is. Boom.
Yep, John Childers. I went out with 41 years. Chili went out with 46.
46. Holy crap.
He rode the pumper engine 7 every day of his career, but 10 days he rode the truck with me, and I kept trying to turn him into a truckie. And he said no. But hey, the number of fires that man fought, and hey, engine 7, they probably average over 15, 20 runs a day. And he be there.
That's a long life, man. That's the long days, man. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's got some stories.
I did 20 runs a day, and that's
you
dog years.
Vomit on
man.
yourself.
That's dog years. I did that for 8 years. That's dog years, man. Holy shit.
Hey, Cap, let me ask you a question. If you could, walking out the door the last day, if you could go back and grab yourself 41 years ago, what would you say to the guy walking in the door 41 years ago?
Oh, good question. Pay attention to the old heads. Learn from the old heads. I mean, then honestly, that's what I did. Because it carried me through my whole career. I mean, those the officers I had, they set the groundwork that carried me successfully through my whole career. But it's all about, man, when I think back to if I had gone to Station 1 where I thought I was going to go instead of Station 7, I probably would have retired as a Walmart greeter. Ones was never known to have the hosses, anyway, I would say pay attention to the old heads. Find the good old heads.
Right.
And if you end up not at a good station, a busy station where guys are passionate about the job, as soon as you get an opportunity, find out where they're passionate and go there. Because, man, when you find guys that are passionate about their profession, it's fun. It don't matter how. And I know, Lou, I was in them 20-run days, and it wears on you. We still go drill, and the guys had good.
Yeah, we drilled all the time.
Yeah.
And I think the guys in the busy houses are a whole lot happier than the guys at the slow stations.
They're definitely crazier. That's for shit sure. No doubt about that.
Yeah. Would you tell that guy how fast it goes?
I was just going to say that, Kev. I can't imagine 41. I mean, 27 went fast. 41.
Oh, no.
I can't imagine you saying another 14 years. Like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, but I mean, when I look back at my career, I remember the morning I walked in as a rookie like it was yesterday. And just all of a sudden, boom, it's over with.
Right.
So, now, for my wife, it's been a slow go because she's watched me grow to twice the man I was as a rookie. And lose my hair.
I love the wife.
Oh, we got a picture of the captain, as you might add, obviously married up, as we might
did.
say.
All right, Pete.
He did.
Boom.
Oh, hell yes, he did. Good for you, Cap.
Yeah.
You think you'd be a little slimmer. You're chasing around the house now. You know what I mean? What's going on?
Yeah.
It's the barbecue.
It was the brisket. That's what it was.
It's the brisket.
Yeah.
Hey, Cap, we say
down.
that on the show all the time. If you'll find you'll get to fires. If you go to a slow house and you love the job and you love the profession and you want to go to fires, you'll find where you gotta be. You'll get there. It might take some time, but you'll get there. It's inevitable. The only thing is you can't let the guys run you down. You know, and the other
And they'll try.
and
Believe me.
they'll try and squench your fire. They might
Yeah,
add.
they want to make you that 95%. Those lazy summing up bitches. Pete, what time is it, fella?
Well, we got a couple of times right now, but the
Oh, we
first
do?
thing,
God bless you.
God
God
bless
bless
you.
you.
Hold on a sec. Let me prep this a little bit here. You
Oh,
sprung
man.
it on me,
Whoa.
Coobs. You sprung it on me. All right. Okay. Well, first and foremost, guys, it's the time for the health and safety tip of the day, and that would be coming from the First Responder Center for Excellence, and that is a non-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the.
Oh, great. That's awesome. We lost him. You muted, Coob. How awesome is that? He's going to pop in here. We're going to have to hit him with the yellow. Hold on. Listen, Cap. Listen. Hold on.
Sheesh.
Oh, there he goes. There she is.
Sheesh. Okay. Well, let's try that one again, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we? We know that we're talking about the First Responders Center for Excellence. And their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges of the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders. The goal is to reduce line-of-duty injuries and deaths, as well as occupational illnesses. They're an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation. And today's old school health and safety tip of the day is this is a simple one. This has got to be the simplest one we've done. Wash your hands after you return from a fire or EMS alarm before eating. This will reduce the ingestion of contaminants. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't wash their hands. Do you guys know any firefighters who wouldn't wash their hands?
I've been in the bathroom when we're preparing the meal, and a guy comes out the stall, doesn't wash his hands. I'm like, yo, fecal fingers. Are you kidding me, for Christ's sake? Are you kidding me? Wash your goddamn hands, man.
And that's not even on
Fecal
the fire.
fingers.
And that's not even on the fire ground.
Fecal fingers.
No.
That's
Sheesh.
nasty, bro.
Sheesh, fecal fingers.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying.
Anybody we can call out by name? That would be fun.
I could, but I wouldn't do that.
No.
I'm teasing. Well, anyway, guys, check out the First Responders Center.org, firstrespondercenter.org. If you're listening to this, and if you're watching, you can take your phone, click it over to your phone app, point it at the squiggly lines on the right hand side of the screen. That's the QR code right there. And that will take you right over to firstrespondercenter.org. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening.
Wash your goddamn hands. That's it.
wash your hands, man. Don't be filthy animals.
Hell,
Clip your
wow.
nails too. Have some hygiene.
Yeah.
It's got to get under your nails too. So definitely do that as well.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
adding to that.
Now, Pete.
Whew.
My Hulk Hogan on you.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Right now,
Right
it's
now,
time
we're gonna bring
for
on Dale Jenkins, brother. When I took Dale Jenkins and I hoisted him up, brother.
with the 24-inch pythons,
Look at
man.
the
24
captain.
pythons and I
Look at the
smacked.
captain looking at you.
Captain's like, this is some bullshit right
This
here,
guy's
man.
95% idiot, he's saying.
Well, let me tell you something. We're
You might be wrong.
95% time for the old school tip of the day. Take it away, Cap.
Yeah, what I'd like to share with the guys that don't know is about defogging your mask. I was taught when we first got air packs that a drop of dish soap, and there's other products out there, but dish soap's the most readily available, and it's any dish soap, any liquid soap actually. But one small drop, and you spread it around on the inside and the outside using only fingers. You then buff it out. Now, if you get a drop, you almost need to get half of that. But one drop will do the inside and outside of your mask. It would do the front and back lens on my tick and the lenses on my flashlights, which you always have too. But you, as the soap dries, you wipe your hands, your fingers clean, and then you buff it out with your fingers. If you have any doubt about how to do it, you can go to my Facebook site, and there's a video showing you how to defog your mask. But by doing that on the outside, when you get in there where they're actively fighting fire, you don't get the condensation on your mask. And so it's all about being able to see when you have that one opportunity, when the smoke swirls or something. If you have a fogged up mask, you're not going to be able to see. So it's a simple, easy trick that will carry you through an entire career. You'll never break a sweat doing it. So good luck.
That was
Out of the box thinking. I like that. I like it.
Hey,
So
Cal,
it's
it's funny you say that. When somebody first told me that, I think I was, maybe a couple months on the job, and I was banging into shit because I thought we were still in smoke, but it was because my mask was totally fogged up.
Nice.
Like right on the outside, not on the inside, on the outside, just like, and that was one of the tips the old timers told me. So
an old head.
Good. I don't think nobody's actually said that yet. So that's a good one.
Nope, the first guy. First one on the show, 100 and something episodes.
But I'm sure they make a defog if you want to spend, $27.95.
Actually, they sell some shit called cat crap. It's called actually.
No,
I'm not kidding you.
It's called cat crap. That's an okay one. I'll tell you guys another one. If you guys do want to buy a product and not take the Cap's advice, Fog Tech. Fog Tech I've used for years. And I do a lot of goggle related sports, and you're sweating and all that stuff will fog up. Fog Tech really does the job. So there you go. 3 tips right there. You got the dish soap, Fog Tech, and cat crap as well, which does work.
Yes. When Pete's running around the woods with old friends.
Yeah, do something. Don't let your mask be fogged up.
Excellent.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Cap, I appreciate you coming on the show. Fantastic career, and you're one of those guys that the love of the job, you exude the love of the job.
And love of killing, obviously, which
is even more
you
guys can talk. Listen, you guys can stay on another hour.
Ladies, please.
Talk about whatever.
Gosh,
Ruff, do you have a shout out? You do, I believe.
What did I have a shout out for? Oh, well, did you want to talk about Jamie? Yeah. Hold on, let me see where I have it here.
Cap, also, what's your Facebook? Is it Captain Jenkins, Dale Jenkins, if guys want to hit you up?
Yeah, Dale Jenkins.
Dale Jenkins on Facebook, guys. A couple guys were asking.
Yep. We've got a lot of training stuff on there.
Okay. Guys.
One more theory I developed about cutting holes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell me if I'm wrong here, Lou. The size of your ventilation hole is directly proportional to the butt pucker factor.
Another classic from this man. I love it.
The wider your butt puckers, the smaller your ventilation hole. Nobody's ever proved me wrong.
That is an easy gauge. You're like, whoa, you got to make it bigger. Hold on.
Or small. If you're really reaching, like if you're really trying to save yourself, reaching out there. That's true.
Yeah, steeper the roof, smaller the hole, more fire under you. So
that's funny. No
you
doubt.
have to be careful about saying that. I had a crew almost run over themselves when I said butt pucker. I don't know what they thought I said, but it was pucker.
Pucker. All right. All right. So, guys, one of our own in the chat is going through some hard times now. So this is what the brothers do, man. They help out. Jamie from One Source, we love the guy. We go to all the trade shows with him. We go out to dinner all the time. Truly love the guy. Him and Billy. He's come on some hard times with his kid. Ruffy's going to fill you in. Go ahead, Ruff.
Yeah. So she got sick last week. And
his
daughter. She's at the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia right now, and it's she's stable as of yesterday, but it wasn't good. And Kev, what was it again?
RSV? Is that what
RSV? So it's some type of respiration.
That's some serious shit. Yeah. And,
so
he's in bed. It's tough with your kid. And
so we're going to try and figure out what we're going to do here. We're going to try and see what the situation is. I talked to Bill. He's going to, I guess he's going to talk to his guys, and he sent us a letter here, but he's going to be going through a lot of, she's already gone through some incredible medical stuff. So, I know we do get a lot of emails for this stuff, but we're going to try and see if we could do something for this guy. And the more information I get, I think we're going to do some type of a mail or I don't know if they're going to do a GoFundMe, but if that's the case, I'm going to post this one up. So I'm going to wait to hear from Bill, and maybe I'll give him a call tomorrow. But I did want to talk about it tonight because I'll probably put it on. Maybe if they're not going to do a GoFundMe, I'll just see if they want to send donations to a certain address, and then I'll put that on the fan page as well. So
Gotcha.
that's our guy. So
Let's do what we do. He's one of our guys.
Lou, what's her name?
Rayann, Raeann is her name.
Merlino.
Jamie Merlino. He's him and Bill are the owners of One Source.
Great human beings.
Fire rescue equipment, and they're from PA.
Okay.
So I'll get some more information. Yeah, thank you, Cap.
All right, Petey.
All right, guys. Well, let's move and motor right through these end slates here. Listen to us on every single audio podcast player in the world. That's right. iTunes podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever. That's where we're on it all. Actually, more people listen to us than are on the YouTube, which is great because I listen to podcasts all day long. But if you're here at youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Also, if you guys are Instagram users, head on over to @SaltyDogInc. Mr. Afrano is going to post one of the coolest fire photos in the history of fire photos tomorrow for sure. The one that we saw just a little bit earlier with from the captain's vault of photos there. GettinSaltyApparel.com, guys. That's how we pay the bills around here. Look out for those playing cards. That's the next big thing. And get your
it's coming.
Get your Christmas orders in right now, you guys. Right now. This is the time. Thank you to everybody in the super chat. We really appreciate you guys a lot. It's been great. Facebook, guys, Gettin Salty Fans page. If you are interested in joining, it's 50,000+ strong. Tons of great commentary on there. Check out the rules and regulations before you join, and then hop on the page and contribute to that community. It's a good one. If you want to advertise with us, gettinsaltyads@gmail.com. How many downloads did we do? 2 million plus?
We're over 2 million.
Yeah, we're over 2 million downloads in a very niche market, you guys, firefighting. So if you guys have products for first responders, for firefighters in particular, email, advertise with us. Over 2 million downloads, guys. Gettin Salty Experience @gmail.com. If you have questions for our Q&As for the show, guys, Coobs Podcast @gmail.com for all of our cocklofts and cocktails shows. That's our news shows. We should do one of those soon. It'll be fun. I miss them. They're a lot of fun, actually. We like your helmet cam footage, your fire photos. You can send us links of other people's stuff. Just tell us what you're sending us. Don't just send us a picture with no story behind it. We need your mustache pics, your tattoo photos, your firehouse kitchen table pics, and don't forget the ever famous and still champion of the world,
Mrs. Procaccini.
Mrs. Procaccini for the Hot Old Lady Contest. That's right. We are running an unofficial Hot Old Lady Contest, and Mrs. Procaccini took the cake, so to speak. So let's see that stuff. Go to Coobs Podcast @gmail.com, and that is all the news that's fit to be.
Excellent. Captain Dale Jenkins, appreciate you coming on. Fabulous story.
Awesome.
Fabulous career. You're a fireman's fireman. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
And if we're ever down there in Texas, we'll look you up for some barbecue. And I'll tell Pete to leave the yellow hat at home.
No. My double H boots come out when I'm down there, man. That's what time it is.
Double H. Okay.
Dang right.
All right. So Pete, you're off. You're working this Thursday night?
I'm working this Thursday night, but I am going to put up some old school tips for Thursday night. I'm going to get that banged out Wednesday for everybody.
Inventors Corner on the 5th. Louis away after that.
Maybe we'll do a little cocklofts or something.
Yes, we have a big one here. DC, you wrote BC. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to rat you out, Rafano. You wrote BC Lieb. DC Frank Lieb is coming on. He had the roof rope rescue. He also had that fire up, and was it the Bronx roof?
He did.
All those people. So he's got a lot of great stories to tell.
And you may know and recognize him from our series on The Rock.
Yes. We got a lot of good guys coming up. All right. That's all I got. Got to go. Guys, have a great night. Captain Jenkins, thanks. Roofie, as always, pleasure to see you. Petey, stay low and go.
Cap, thank you for everything. It was a pleasure. See you at the big one, everybody.
Thank you all, guys. And remember, no one is coming. It's up to us. Let's go.